Hello, this video is about there. There in not here, there in there is, there in there were, there will be, and others, and more. Hope you enjoy it. Scene 1, there, answering the question, where is? And here are two ladies with a pair of glasses on the table, and one of them can't see, so the other one is saying, I'll just write it out here, your glasses are there, your glasses are there on the table. Or you could equally say it the other way round. There are your glasses on the table. Notice the pronunciation, there are your glasses on the table. In fact, I'll even write at the bottom here, pronunciation, just write the word pronunciation there, and I'll write it using the International Phonetic Alphabet. There, which is different from there is, which we'll be seeing in scene 2. But let's stay on scene 1 for the moment. And here's a picture of a classroom, and the bell is ringing, and the teacher is saying, and I'll write it at the bottom here, there's the bell. So that's more like time than place. We'll stop there at that point. So over on the left here, we've got more about place. So I'll just write at the top there, in that place. That's what you see on the left. And on the right is more about time or a moment in a process. So we'll put at that point. So we've got in that place and we've got at that point. Right, that's all for scene 1. Now we'll move on to scene 2. Right, here's scene 2. And the first thing I'll do is put a picture of a little park here, which is quite near my house. So I'll write here, there's a park. There's a park at the end of our street. There's a park at the end of our street. And as you can see in the picture, there's a cafe, there's a woman, and some tables and chairs. So I'll write here, there's a cafe. There's a cafe near the entrance. There's a cafe near the, oops, a bit crooked, that's better. There's a cafe near the entrance. So the pronunciation is different from the pronunciation in the previous scene. So I'll just write at the bottom here, pronunciation, and I'll write it again using the International Phonetic Alphabet, if I can remember it. Yes, there's a park, or even instead of it could be an so I'll just write an underneath there. There's a park. So there's a park at the end of our street, or there's a cafe, there's a. But it's a bit more than that, the park. So I'll add the other half of the park here. And here you can see some trees and some swings and some benches. So I can write over here, there are swings for the kids, for the children, if you like. There are swings for the kids. There are. Notice it's got a plural form. Theirs is the singular and there is the plural. And on the left you can see trees with benches and people. So I'll just write there. And there are plenty of, notice it's plural, there are plenty of trees with benches in the shade. So we've got there is singular and there are plural, but in a sentence we say there are. And I'll just write at the bottom there in the International Phonetic Alphabet, there are. Or if you want to speak really quickly, even there are. There are plenty of swings, there are plenty of trees. All right, let's move on to the next scene. Scene 3, and here we have a text, which I'm going to put up here, a difficult meeting. And here's the person speaking. It's my little drawing, not very good, of the man speaking. There was a man at the meeting who expressed very strong opinions, and there were two women who didn't like it. There would have been a big row, but the meeting came to an end just then. There will be trouble at the next meeting. Well, there may be, but I hope not. I'll do my best to keep the peace. Now here's a picture of the meeting. Here we are, there's the chairman, the two women walking out. They didn't like it. There's the man with the strong opinions. So let's just go over the text again. We start off with there was, just underline it. There was a man, past tense, and then there were two women. and then a conditional, there would have been. And then we'll move on to a future, there will be, and finally a possibility, there may be. So you see there are lots of different ways of using there with is, are, was, were, and lots of other verb forms. Just a quick reminder of the pronunciation I'll put at the bottom here. There was, don't forget it's there was a man, there was a man. Or, in the plural, there were two women, there were. I've put the R in brackets because in some accents you hear it all the time, and in all accents you hear it if the next letter is a vowel. Alright, let's move on to the last scene, which is quite short. Just two little phrases I want to mention here. I'll write out the first one. There you are. Quite a common phrase that we use in two rather different ways. I'll drag in the first way. Here it is. I was looking for you. If you were looking for somebody in a party or something, you can say, oh, there you are. And another use, I knew it would be okay. If someone's got a problem, you can say, there you are, it's fine. And now to finish, here's a picture of a lady consoling a child, and she's saying, there, it'll be all right. That's what we say to children when they hurt themselves. That's all I've got to say about there. There's more to say, but I think that's probably enough for today. Bye for now.